Good rainy Wednesday morning. Wow, it is raining so hard here. Wow. Hey, welcome to Ice Age TV. The YouTube channel talks about all my cars. The internal combustion engine YouTube channel talks about my cars and trucks and motorcycles and in the rain. And wow, it's raining so hard here. I'm getting across the property as fast as possible. So I'm not talking the clearest right now because you know what? It's downpouring rain. Pouring rain. It's really raining. And hey, as always, thanks for tuning in my channel for the morning conversations of where I take a word of the day and we create content from that one word. Property's getting soaked. The grass is happy. The trees are happy. The Iceman's not happy because I'm getting soaking wet right now. And come on, pups. Smoking the hell out of this barn. This is a lot of work. And I'm just telling you, it's a lot of work. And look, did the birds show up last night and crap even more? Probably. It just doesn't end, man. The birds. The War of the Birds. Have you seen The Birds, the movie? You know what I'm talking about? If you don't, go look at it. You may be a little scared of all those big black birds. All right, so here's the challenge. June's got to get upstairs. Kiefer wants to dominate her. As always, it's the routine. So, Kiefer, you're not going up first, dude, because you're going to create problems. So, no, you're a troublemaker. He's a troublemaker. Yes, he is. Get up there. Go on. And, okay. Going up there. Yeah, it's happening fast. I can't believe it's Wednesday. Jesus Christ. So the bird damage, I gotta turn the lights on. Man, these birds just don't give up, man. They work all night long. The adventures of the Iceman. So they're building their nest. That's what they're doing. They're building their nest so they can have their little babies and populate even more birds to poop on everything. Isn't that just beautiful? Right, so what's the word of the day? Build. You just heard the word build because we had on Monday the escape conversations. Tuesday, the journey conversations. Wednesday, we'll call it the build conversation. And how to be wearing my Honda hat today to recognize Honda as a really quality built product. Yes, as usual, we got to take the car ideas and with the cars and motorcycles. So some people apparently are making fun of my clear covers, but you know what? It's really cool. The bird crap ain't on the car, it's on the cover. And did I slow them down a little bit? I may have, but this is a lot of work. To sit here and kind of manage this damn thing, but it does smoke the hell out of the barn. So it is pretty cool, but look at this here. The rains. Wow, the rains, it really is the rains. You know, some years we haven't gotten a lot of rains, and we've had kind of a dry, last year was kind of a dry summer. This right now, this keeps up. It's going to be hell of a rainy April, which just brings the April showers, bring the May flowers. So, anyways, the build conversations, yeah, I know, I hear you. Yesterday, I drove the Raptor for the first time, and that truck, that SUV, that whatever you want to call it, that thing is so badass. And I was even mulling over, do I get rid of that for a Trackhawk? Nope, I ain't doing that. Well, I'd like to get rid of something else for Trackhawk. If it made sense, sure, I would do that because it's got the Hellcat motor in it, and that'd be pretty cool for me to have a car Hellcat, a truck Hellcat, and an SUV Hellcat. That'd be pretty cool. But who knows? With me, it's always about the adventures, collections, and the craziness of who I am and what I do, which makes no sense to so many, and I get that. But at the same time, I try to bring content information to you that maybe you learn something, maybe you don't. Maybe you correct me for what I tell you, and maybe it makes me look even more incompetent than I am, right? So anyways, the build conversation. Oh my gosh. And here's the thing. I did make a video sometime back called Build Back Better. Okay, who created that word besides the guy in office that created Build Back Better? Who's the guy that created the Inflation Reduction Act? How is this IRA? And I think it's funny if you go to most people and you say, "Have you heard about the IRA?" They're not going to know what you're talking about, meaning the Inflation Reduction Act. They won't. Majority of people have no clue what you're talking about. Majority of people have no clue of all the bills and laws that are passed in this country, but yet they go vote for a person because they're either red or blue. I mean, that's how life is. Isn't that something? We're so, just the bottom line is who you hang out with, how you're brought up. You're going to vote red or blue. Or you may not vote at all. You're going to vote independent because you just vote red or blue. But you actually don't actually know what the red or blue are doing for the country of passing these bills and laws that in so many ways damage you or in so many ways help you. But for the Inflation Reduction Act, I thought, wow, what better conversation to take with that with Janet Yellen. Do you know who Janet Yellen is? Probably majority of people have no clue who Janet Yellen is. She's the Secretary of the Treasury, which is supposed to oversee the monies of our country, the well-being and good physical monies of our country. Yeah, can you all laugh your ass on that comment? Yeah, the well-being of our country, where each and every one of us is already indebted to the hilt of tax monies owed to this country to have it be self-sufficient and survive, all based off of your income, of you having a tax liability to keep things going, which even at that, it won't. So this is what brought this conversation, is what's going on, as usual, in the electric vehicle market, because it's all about the Ice Age. That's the name of my channel. I named my channel Ice Age because I know that the Ice Age is being challenged at the highest level ever in the world to be eliminated, to be exterminated. Yes, it is. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No, it won't. You can see I have personalized tags. Ice Age. I've got stickers on cars. Ice Age. Now, why this channel doesn't have 100,000 plus subscribers, I just don't get it myself, because who else out there has a dedicated channel that talks about the Ice Age? Would somebody please reach out to me and tell me that I'm an idiot and you're an idiot of a YouTuber, because your content really doesn't mean much. It doesn't mean much to me. What's the big deal about the Ice Age, Mr. Iceman? There's tons of people out there with Ice Age conversations. Really? I don't know of any. But share with that so I can watch their content. Sometimes I think I need to go to my TV. Look how small my TV is here. See what I did? I spoiled myself. Do I go out and buy a bigger screen? I think I do. And so I got to think to myself, sometimes I need to go to my YouTube channel. And I just need to share with you what I see. And it just kind of befuddles me on how the YouTube kind of populates things and who gets the attention, who doesn't. And so anyways, so here it is. Look at this here. So here it is. Squatters, stop driving your car now. This guy got 47,000 views. Here's Dan the Man, and I'm not here to be critical. So this is not a conversation of me wanting to be mean to any of these YouTubers. It just intrigues me on how these people get these, the highlights. So here's John Williams. John Williams. So the car crisis.
What's up, guys? John here. What's unfolding in America's auto market right now is going to change car prices forever.
So here you go. 13 hours ago, this guy posted this. 46,000.
Look at Tesla stock, for example. This is a clear indication.
So this guy is saying
of the problems that are about to hit.
So all those guys, hey Charles out there, your new car is coming to you, because if the car prices do fall like this guy says, you're going to be getting a car for 75% off. Look at this. So you guys should be jumping for joy right now. Of the car prices are going to the Iceman right here is going to end up let you have my Mustang Dark Horse that I paid like $70,000 for. You're going to get it for 25%, meaning 75% times 70 grand, or just take 70 times 25. What's that? That's basically like 15 grand. So you're going to get my car for 15 grand. John Williams just told you that on the YouTube channel, right? I mean, this just cracks me up on how these guys build their channels. They build their channels. This guy here says that the Repo Fest is at the highest ever. He's a used car guy. This guy's dumping cars. Everyone's going broke. He's had 182,000 views in one day. That the whole car market is done beyond done. Now here's Cletus McFarland, which this guy's got a cool channel. This guy's had 1 million views off of them putting fake grass or stadium grass on the racetrack. Okay, so this guy gets a lot of attention. Here's a guy that's a real estate guy out of Miami. They're gonna take all your money. So it's pretty incredible. What the main theme here, though, is these other channels. They build their channels off of fear. You notice that? It's the fear that drives the content. Hey, here's the brand new Indian Scout. I watched a little bit of that yesterday. That's pretty cool because it is a good looking bike and it has some really respectable power. 1250cc, brand new, liquid cooled motor, and it's like 100 plus horsepower, like 80 or 90 foot-pounds of torque. It's a badass little bike. Anybody out there that's thinking about getting their first like starter bike, that Indian Scout bike is a really, maybe their second starter bike, but that Indian, I had them. I've had a few of those Indian Scouts. They really are fun bikes. And they really do, and it really is building a nice product. Anybody on my channel thinks that I'm not, that I'm anti-Indian now, and no, that's not the conversation at all. One of my YouTube guys reached out after I made the comment of the Harley-Davidson CVO ST being the baddest ass Harley-Davidson ever that I've owned production-wise, and that I feel it's a more fun bike than the Challenger Elite, and he was really cool. And he's like, I copied that, but I still love my Indian Challenger Elite, which it is. It's a great bike. That isn't, so when I talk on my channel, never do I want to come across that I'm bigger and better than you, that I have badder ass things than you. That isn't my point of my conversation, my channel. Conversations, I just like to share the craziness of what I buy and what I do. And once again, we turn it into the state of times that's going on in our own country, around the world. And I use my cars and motorcycles to carry that theme and try to be diplomatic as possible, because you start mouthing off and some things can unfortunately happen to your channel that you try to build to be better and they take that away from you. So anyways, back to the Janet Yellen thing about the build America, build back better with Joe Biden. Whether you realize it or not, China, this is classic. China is so efficient in the world. They're the most efficient EV battery manufacturer. They're the most efficient electric car manufacturer of the world. That is correct. Whether you believe it or not, do your research. I've done my research. And I talked about this company, BYD, Build Your Dream, which Warren Buffett was a major investor. Back like in 2008 or 9, they weren't one of the birds. Yeah, living in my barn. They're building their nest. So Warren Buffett saw an opportunity to go to China, like most companies did, to enrich themselves even more by using the Chinese to as you know, I mean, it's just common knowledge of our country why most businesses went to China. So the point is, for the Chinese, they have an oversupply of technology that is really more so battery and solar and green energy. Yes, so for China, they have ramped up so much of their production of efficiency that they have too much technology sitting around that's outpacing the trend of people going to electric vehicles. And that's a huge challenge for China. And it's very disconcerting to the Janet Yellen, where she's literally flying to China here within this week or next week to go sit down with China and tell them, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, this is classic. It's classic how we have a city administration that has been the most dominant controlling government administration in so many ways than in modern times in any other sitting powers. If you really sit back and start looking at what's going on in our country, of what they're doing and controlling everything, and now they want to control China. Joe Biden wants to control China. So Janet Yellen is going to have a sit-down talk about how they can't bring into this world market this really inexpensive battery technology because it's going to ruin our own country's Inflation Reduction Act. That's basically what the underlying message is, because, as you know, the Inflation Reduction Act, if you watch my channel, you're listening to me, or if you're new, the Inflation Reduction Act is all about the green agenda. And it's like an $858 billion subsidy to entice companies to come here, or existing companies here, to set up shop and start building electric batteries, solar panels, electric vehicles, the green agenda incentives. And then you go to the CHIPS and Science Act, another separate bill that was passed that was worth like $58 billion. And that is all designed to entice the likes of TSMC, Taiwan Semi-Manufacturing Company out of Taiwan, to come here stateside instead of being in that challenging country of their own, Taiwan. If it isn't the Chinese wanting to overtake them, it's an earthquake wanting to overtake them, and now it's a tsunami. So that just happened yesterday. Sadly, Taiwan had a major earthquake, and now TSMC has shut down their semiconductor manufacturing, and la-da-da-da. And if you this on my channel, you know who NVIDIA is, who's created and built the best semiconductor chip that runs off of GPU versus CPU technology. And you understand that that's a huge win in so many ways in our country of a home-based company that's creating the artificial intelligence capacity never ever seen before in modern times. And it's happening now. And all because this NVIDIA, if you would have bought their stock 2 years ago, you probably put 10 grand in it, you'd probably have 100 grand or $500,000 of value in that company right now. That company has exploded because it's the most efficient, best run semiconductor chip company that's been around for many, many years. If you watch my channel, you know a lot of that information, which is on other, I have all this content in other videos. So you can always search through the files and files of all my videos and morning conversations. And this is redundant talk for those that watch me daily, but for anybody who's new on the channel, this is kind of new information for them. So going back to the build, you know, what entices people to build things and what is going on with China that's overbuilding things, what is going on with Janet Yellen that's flying there to tame that down. So we'll go back to that here in a little bit, but if you think about the build, the cars, what is everybody usually intrigued or excited about when they buy a car? Especially an older car, it all turns into, it's the build. I mean, what's like the number one shows that all of us got addicted to back in the 2000 years until modern day of all these car shows that took cars, trucks, motorcycles, and they would build them. I mean, my most famous one to me is Orange County Choppers. When I started watching Paul Tuttle Sr. and Paul Tuttle Jr. fight among themselves as the father-son duo of building these custom choppers, to me that was entertainment. That was a great series of entertainment. And so, but then during that time, you had other big shows that began to populate as well. And probably Grease Monkey Garage. That was a really cool show with Richard Rawlings and Aaron. And then you had Roadkill. That's a really cool show, the Motor Trend show. I mean, there's so many out there. Texas Steel, Iron Resurrection. I can't even name all of these channels because there's just so many out there. But all of them have a main theme, and the main theme is build. They're building something. And that's what entices people like Cletus McFarland. He's got a really good gig, and I've talked about it before. In so many ways, the guy created his own Discovery Channel where he's duplicated the car builds on his own channel, but he gets more crazy and does crazier things. But he's got a whole huge facility, shop, people that can help him modify and custom build things. What happened to my build on my Mustang? Where the hell's my Whipple supercharger? Hey, Lethal Performance. Hey, Jared, the owner of Lethal Performance that posts all these frickin' videos of you copying me with the exact same Mustang I have that you have, and you took my Whipple charger, dude. Where the hell is my Whipple charger? I bought it December 4th. I was told that it was an 8 to 12 week build. I think did I get screwed? Hey, Jared, I did this other day on his YouTube channel. I just put in the comments. He never responded because it's just too much content, too many comments on a channel. How do you interact with that? And so anyways, I was just being funny, saying, hey, you took my supercharger. But no lie. Here we are in the 4th month of the year. From December, you're 5 months. We're now 5 months for Whipple to be building me my supercharger for my Dark Horse Mustang, which that would be a really great video on my channel to share with me taking this car to get the supercharger put on, and then before and after and all that other stuff. I won't be there in the shop. I guess I could be, but I won't be sitting in the back shop watching. Well, I don't know. But the thing is, I'm going to take it to my dealer and have the guy do the work, which I hope he knows how to do the work, right? Does he know how to build something? So once again, the build, I mean, that's the biggest thing for you as an individual buys a car, motorcycle, truck, SUV, whatever it may be. You get on this fixation of how you're going to build your car. And that's truly drives a lot of people to get out of bed every morning. Yeah, well, believe it or not, somebody picks up an older car, even a modern car, They want to go to work, make their money. You know what they want to do with their money? They want to build their car. They want to, I mean, some of these Hellcat cars right here, you know how many guys have modded these cars? I mean, it's huge. It's huge. Of where guys, it may take them a year to have the monies, and they buy a different drive shaft. They change out the rear axle. They change out the wheels and tires. They change out the pulleys. They then get a tune, tap into ECM. I mean, it's infinite. All the things. They change out the exhaust. They change out the maybe the shifter. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, it goes, yeah. It grows and grows. And so then you build your own custom personalized car, which that's really cool. That's why I go to these car meets. If you watch my channel, and you see on Sunday morning I get out of bed and I do the car show. If I'm in town and it's a decent day and things are right, I'll go to the car meet. And I try to run into people that have their cars, their car build, or their car story of how they got their car and what they did and what they love about their car. And it's very personalized. And that's something I always wonder about these other YouTubers. How the heck do you respond? Okay, it's like a guy here, I'm showing you John Williams. John Williams posts all day long the dire straits of the world. I mean, he does. And so this guy here, how many I don't know if I'm doing this right. You know, how many comments did this guy have? And so I see usually, thousands of comments. How does this guy interact with his YouTubers? I mean, I don't understand. Like on my channel, I don't have a lot of, I've always thought, wow, if my channel ever had thousands of comments, how would I even have a personal level with my subscribers? How would I even have time to interact to make those feel like I care about you and I listen to you and I hear your comments? And I think that's a huge part of the community of a YouTuber is I've been on YouTube channels and I've watched and I've made comments and they never respond. They never come back to my comment. And I just think it's just a waste of time to be involved in that channel because you don't get any attention. And for me, it's even challenging for me because I have people reach out in different usernames. And my apologies to anybody there that I don't really directly thank you for making a comment. But there's so much information and so many different comments. And some days, and the usernames are kind of weird. I gotta get some water because my throat has gone dry on me. So, my apologies for those that watch my channel. And you have to, hear me get the gurgle, goggle water routine. As I don't have the water here waiting for me, which that's kind of too bad, right? As it's just a downpouring rainy day. So for the build, but here's the other thing. Who builds a better car? Oh, yeah. I mean, truly, who builds the better car? Now for me, growing up as the dirt bike kid, I was the Yamaha guy. But I mean, come on, I just think it through. Who do you think builds the better motorcycle? Is it going to be Is it going to be Indian? Is it going to be Moto Guzzi? Is it going to be Ducati? Will it be BMW? Will it be, I mean, you can start going through the list. Will it be Triumph? I mean, it would be probably labor intensive of trying to figure out who builds the best motorcycle. But then it goes to what model? Which bike are you talking about? I mean, like right now, Triumph just brought to the market a motocross bike because Ricky Carmichael, if you know who Ricky Carmichael is, he's the heyday motocross star back in the 2000 years. Jerry McGrath, I can't think of all the names, but he had a lot of personalities. Ricky Carmichael, he partnered up with Triumph, and Triumph's entering the motocross circuit. What do you really think? I mean, I don't think they're going to have it. I just can't see them first year out, second year out, really having that technology and being able to compete against guys who have been doing it forever. And who's been the most dominant motocross winner has been like KTM. So, but it's always been the war of Honda, Kawasaki, and Yamaha. For the era when I grew up, it was always Yamaha, Honda, Kawasaki competing to be the best built motocross bike. And by racing them, that was something that they brought to the table that intrigued you to believe one was built better than the other. Now, growing up, I never ever thought I would own a Harley Davidson because in my era of Harley Davidsons, these things to me were a bucket of bolts. They were junk. Are you kidding me? You go back to the 70s when AMF bought out Harley Davidson? Yeah, it sounds like audio's mofo, right? Yeah, that's about right. And so those things were just junk. The motocross bikes, forget it. You can talk about the Hidaka, the Bultacos. So, and then you go to the history of the true beginnings of the motorcycle lineage, which I've talked about many times on my YouTube channel, of where the original origins of Indian and Harley Davidson, and then you go to the Honda and the Yamaha. And so once again, for me, I feel like Honda, in my book, is the better built motorcycle on the roadside. So like a Honda Goldwing, I would have much more confidence of a Honda Goldwing going long-term, longevity, reliability, quality built bike. I would always feel it's going to outdo the Harley Davidson. But at the same time, the Harley Davidson always gives you that fun, free-spirited V-twin motor between your legs, which makes it that much more fun because you get that really cool V-twin rumble between your legs. Another day, bringing up my good friend subscriber that commented how he feels like his Indian Challenger. He loves his Indian Challenger. And yes, I agree. The Indian Challenger is a great bike. But it's a liquid-cooled V-twin. It's not an air-cooled V-twin. So it's a whole different technology, and it's a whole different kind of sound to a degree. So it's just a different rumble between your legs. I wish my Triumph Rocket was out here because that's the baddest ass motorcycle I've ever owned that has that huge 2500cc motor between my legs, and it just rumbles going down the road. You're doing 60, 70 miles an hour. Even at those speeds, 50, the bike just rumbles like you got a Hellcat motor between your legs. It is just so badass. Now, when you come to the who builds the better car, oh, I mean, this is the biggest, longest running argument in mankind in the ice age of this country. Is it Chevy? Is it Ford or Dodge? Oh my gosh, you'd have a brawl. If we were hanging out at a bar and everybody got to drinking, you'd have people rolling around the front of the bar fighting over, hey, my Challenger's better than your Mustang. Hey, my Mustang's better than your Camaro. Wow, hey, did you just notice something about my channel? Who do you know on the channel? Reach out, share my channel, prove me wrong. Who the hell has a Dark Horse Mustang sitting in their garage? It's brand new. Who the hell has a Red Eye Challenger? And who the hell has, sorry for the language, who the heck has a Chevy Camaro Z28? I mean, these two here, in some ways, are truly collector's cars. Truly, for long term. Incredible. This car here, it's the newest car, but here's the whole point. Here's your three biggest argumented cars in car forums. If you go to the Chevy car forum, the guy's going to brag all day about how his Camaro will smoke the Mustang. If you go to the Mustang forum, the Mustang guy's going to brag all day long how his Mustang will smoke the Camaro. If you go to the Dodge forum, the Dodge guy's going to tell you that he smokes both of these guys. And then this guy will tell you that the Camaro, the Chevy's a piece of crap. The Chevy guys say the Ford's a piece of crap. Then they'll say the Dodge guy's a piece of crap. Who doesn't know these conversations? If you've been involved in car forums, you know where people are like, I'd never own a Mustang. I'd never. Hey, wait a second, sounds like me. I mean, sincerely, that's how I was for years. I mean, sincerely, you go to a Dodge forum and you start telling guys, I was in a Dodge forum community. When I bought my first Ford Mustang, for the most part, in that car forum, all I heard was, why the hell did you do that? Those things are junk. Those things are terrible. Why would you buy that, Mr. Iceman? Right. Yes. I mean, so, yeah, so who builds a better car? For me, at this day of age, I'd honestly say they're all within reason of quality because there's so many shared components now. And that's a huge thing about building newer cars today is you have this massive platform of so many products that are being built by other manufacturers that then give it to the manufacturer to put in his car, that it really isn't the in-house Chevy product or the in-house Dodge product or in-house Ford product. It's more of the engineering, the design, the bodies, you know, the architecture. But when it comes to the key components, the transmissions are shared between Chevrolet and Ford. These 10-speed autos are Chevy and GM shared, I believe. I could be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. The Tremec transmission is here in this Mustang, Well, the Tremec transmission, I mean, yeah, the Camaro, yeah, they look similar, don't they? Tremec's in this Camaro, a Tremec manual is in the Mustang. This Multimatic rear suspension in this car is now being put into the new GTD Ford Mustang. So you don't know about the new GTD Ford Mustang, the baddest ass production Mustang that's ever going to be built, that's coming to your dealer soon for a huge $300,000+. Be lucky to get one. But that Multimatic company out of North Carolina that designs racing car components, suspensions, this Camaro has that in it. So the point is, a lot of these cars today are sharing very similar items in them. It just comes down to the motor, in-house Chevy, in-house Dodge, in-house Ford. But then when it goes to other things, axles, brakes, wheels, I mean, all sorts to change, even to the point of electronics. Everything's built is being shared more than ever on all these different cars. And I talked about that the other day about how the Elon Musk is trying to transform and how all these cars are being put together, and he's trying to design the plug and play type of manufacturing process. For Elon Musk, tell you what, he's getting beat up. He's getting beat up. A lot of people are really starting to attack him. They don't like him. So what is Elon Musk building? And what they're talking about is how this BYD is overtaking Elon in China. And that's what I was talking about, this Janet Yellen going to China. So for Elon Musk, his Tesla sales are still impressive, but they're not impressive because they're not growing, they're shrinking. So even though he's doing great volumes of sales on Teslas, he's not staying ahead of the Chinaman. Okay, the Chinese manufacturing is taking over Elon Musk's dominant electric vehicle over in that Asia Chinese market. And that's a huge concern for this country's, for Elon Musk. You know, it's very, I'm sure, concerning for him, but he's well abreast of it. That's why he's going to build a Model 2 Tesla for dirt cheap. Over in China, there's a company, maybe BYD. I don't think it's BYD. There's a $10,000 electric vehicle that's just a bare bone electric car. And so that's the concern that Elon knows, is these very inexpensive electric vehicles are coming our way. And that's challenging. And for Elon Musk and the other likes of Ford and General Motors, Stellantis, this is concerning to them that if the Chinese can get their footprint in our domestic market, it's going to be very challenging for them, because I just told you at the beginning of my channel, the Chinese have mastered building the most efficient batteries and technology and electric vehicles than any other builder in the world at this time. Warren Buffett is a very smart man. Warren Buffett has an incredible gig going with Build Your Dream, BYD. Look it all up. And they're trying diligently to get into this domestic market. And Janet Yellen is diligently trying to keep them out of the market, along with Joe Biden and others that are very concerned. And that's the whole thing. Where Janet Yellen, she wants to have a sit-down conversation, because if the Chinese can infiltrate our country with his batteries and the car technology, it's going to be a huge hit against the Inflation Reduction Act. Which the Inflation Reduction Act, as I just told you, it's all about subsidizing all big business, small business, of being able to set up shop here and start building domestic green agenda technology. And the Chinese, in so many ways, want to circumvent that and ruin that. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. On the one hand, you look at this guy, Joe Biden, that's trying to spread the wealth of technology to our country at the taxpayer's expense. But at the same time, he's taken the Chinese business model, and has tried to use it here, as the Chinese are laughing their ass off that he fell for the game plan, he fell for the gig, and they developed exactly what the Chinese spent the last 20 plus years designing and developing in their backyard, that they've mastered, and it opens a door for them huge into our market if this government can convince more people to go total green, and this government can continue to pass bills and laws that do away with the Ice Age. It's going to be a win for China like never seen before. And so, yeah, I know, wow, right? I mean, it's the facts. If you really do your research, you'll start to understand this more than ever. Now, here's what's really intriguing. So they're now calling out Elon Musk, which I didn't really know this. I don't stay on X much, but I see what goes on. But X is just so, in my eyes, so, it's just, I think it's deliberately, I think people are deliberately trying to ruin that platform. They deliberately do things, and Elon Musk lets them get away with it. So apparently, he's starting to kind of get called out that he's letting too much pornography populate on X, which I've seen this. And it's basically, it's basically solicitation of people wanting to earn money off of porn. And so they're now kind of starting to call out Elon Musk because they feel like his X platform is proliferating way too much porn and it's creating businesses. But this is what's really intriguing. Apparently, now is this factual? I don't know. It's just something I read. But apparently Elon Musk has actually even looked into making monies, monetizing the porn business through his X site, where people can set up their personal porn, business model, and Elon Musk would allow it on an adult side of it, adult porn on an adult side of the X, and he would then be generating monies for the porn people and himself. But at the same time, they're saying too that he realizes how dangerous that road, the dark side of that road goes. So it doesn't sound like that would happen, but they make it sound like he entertained that. Remember, I talking about with Elon Musk. I'm just telling you, the guy is just, oh my gosh, where is this guy going with the money factor? The money factor. I mean, where does it end? And it's all about the money. What is he building? What is he building? So yesterday I was talking about the journeyman, and for how many people in the Generation Z are going a whole different way to build their career. And that's all in our conversation is, what do you do in life? You want to build something. Isn't that what we all want? I mean, it starts at a very young age. I mean, there's some people who are just built to be a certain personality. You see it in kids. What kid wanted the Steel Erector set? What kid wanted the Lego set? You see that at a very young age, these kids are already building the future of who they're going to be because of the way they are intrigued to what they like to do. Like the video games. Who would ever imagine that the video gamers of so many years ago, where so many parents were just so irritated at their kids that they weren't outside building a tree fort or building a sandbox or whatever it may be out in their yard, or building relationships with the friends in the neighborhood, or building up a cool local, your own neighborhood basketball team or your own baseball or football, whatever it may be. But meanwhile, these kids would sit in the house and they're working on these video games and they don't really have much interaction outside of that. But now here today, what are they doing? These guys built their future of being the drone experts, the video game designers, the GPU, the science, for the Science and Chips Act. They're wanting to hand out money to create the semiconductor business to be a huge domestic side business here stateside, and the gig is being caught on. If you heard TSMC, Taiwan Semi Manufacturing Corporation company out of Taiwan, they're already here building a massive semiconductor plant. So it's happening. But you think about it, these kids have built their future through video gaming. That's opened up the door that I even never would have thought 20 years ago, that some young kid today that's probably now 30 years old has a heck of a gig and has built himself a great career and job because he was so involved in video gaming that enabled him to be somebody that would be looked at, who would have incredible value. I mean, that's just how it is. As you build your fortune, who doesn't want to build their fortune? That's the goal of many people that get an early start, and that's kind of the thing that I've always thought to myself, most people spend their whole life saving every freaking cent they have. And don't take this wrong. Anybody on my channel, I'm just sharing my own views and ideas. They spend their whole life working their ass off. You save every penny you get. You turn 65, you retire. Now this is a fact. It isn't dominant. Turn 65, and the first thing they do is they go out and buy themselves a motorcycle. And they haven't ridden a motorcycle for probably 30 or 40 years because they had to get a business or an occupation, family. I get all that. I mean, for me, I was always on motorcycles and dirt bikes and ATVs throughout most of my life, thank God, which is, I think, has helped me be a good rider at my age. So here's a guy that goes out, saves every cent he has, he finally retires, goes out and buys his motorcycle, and you know what happens? He kills himself. Yes, it happens. It happens all the time because the person hasn't been on a motorcycle for 30 to 40 years. And now their cognitive skills are nothing of what they were when they were younger. I had a gentleman reach out my YouTube channel that watched that near-death experience of me, just about crash and die or be severely critically injured. And that person said he's 80 years old and he never had any accidents, but at 80 years old, he came to closure that it's time to give up his motorcycle. He just doesn't have the skills that he had when he was younger. And I totally agree with that. That's my whole point, is I've witnessed in my life people save every cent, they retire at 65, and then they have this whole wad of money. They didn't do what I did. They didn't spend it on cars and trucks and motorcycles. They didn't live a lifestyle of somebody would say is recluse because of how much material things they have, and I don't disagree with that. But here's the thing. Sadly, you hear 5 years after they retire, they get terminal cancer, and they're gone. So they never had a chance to enjoy their wealth. Never. The kids will enjoy the wealth. They won't. Or the spouse. You know how many widows are in Florida? Do you know how many widows are in this country? In this country, that their husbands, and don't get me wrong, it could be also a man, but for the widows, there's more widows, that the husband built the wealth and the strength of the family for not only for the widow to have millions upon millions of dollars sitting in a bank account. And what they do with it, besides some probably not much of anything. I mean, really, this goes on. This is huge of how many widows in this country are richer than rich. And then, as you know, eventually when the widow dies, then the kids get the big inheritance. And then, you just, in today's world, in this country, the amount of wealth that's been created from the father, family business, and then been given to the kids, it's massive. It's massive. So you'll run into people as you get older in life that you'll scratch your head on how they worked a mundane job, but they got this McMansion house and all this cool stuff, and you'll start to wonder, but how did this all come to be? Some people say all the time on my channel, did you win the lotto? I wish I did. If I won the lotto, oh man, I'd blow this channel up like you can't believe. Would I have the giveaway contests and the adventure contests? Heck yeah, I would. I would stay busy. So for building your wealth, yeah, I hear you. I agree. Most people would say, well, the odds are against you, Mr. Iceman. Well, odds have been against me my whole life. I just don't look at it that way. I look at it, I'm going to have fun today. So I'm taking the opposite direction in life. Yeah, I'm spending my money now, which I agree can be foolish, but guess what? I'm enjoying all this stuff now, today, while I have the health and well-being and good being to be able to do it, because I don't want to be 70 years old when I'm getting my Ram TRX. I don't want to be 7 years old when I'm getting my Honda Goldwing or my Harley Davidson. And something you think about, if you watch that video of me just about dying on this past Saturday's ride, and anytime you get on a bike, you have to build your confidence up and be very attuned to, do you come back home? If every time you get on your bike, if you're not always in the page of thinking the what if, then in my view, you're foolish. Because every time you get on a bike, something can happen in a split second and it's over. And it happens every day. So for me, every time I get on a bike, I'm always on the page. Do I come back home? Am I still walking, or am I dead? That's always the way I look when I get on a motorcycle. And I try to be very abreast to what's going on around me at all times. But I'm not perfect. But the whole point of that conversation is, if I was on a different motorcycle that didn't have ABS or was a bigger bagger bike, would have I avoided that crash? I don't think I would have. I think I would have crashed. One of my good subscribers, Mr. Sanchez, he point blank was like, wow, that Harley so saved you from you hitting that car. It was a 1 second, I would have to say, maybe 2 second difference of me being ejected off that bike at 40 miles an hour and being probably killed or critically injured, impaired, or what I pulled off where that bike locked down, and the bike was confident. The bike locked down. So the bike didn't go into where you go lay down. The bike literally locked down, and I was able to control that bike to push it right to get around that car. And that's extremely challenging when you've got a motorcycle in you that weighs 1,000 pounds. So if I was on an older Harley that didn't have ABS brakes, it had a full touring, and it weighed more, if I had a passenger, I think that would have been a whole different story. I mean, it really would have. And just wow. So anyways, it's to build conversations, but to wrap it up with the Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen, she's going to go over to China, and she's going to tell everybody to stop overproducing all this green agenda stuff to make the world better, because you're going to ruin our own country's Inflation Reduction Act, which the irony to this Inflation Reduction Act, it's not an Inflation Reduction Act. Does anybody really step back and think to yourself on all the cars under Joe Biden's term have become extremely expensive? All the cars. Now, yes, I hear you loud and clear. If you're watching the YouTuber guys, they claim now that all the car dealers have to start giving cars away at 75% off. You just saw John Williams he just told you 75, that everything's going to fall by 75%. Do you believe this? Do you believe that? I mean, do you believe that? I mean, wow. Can this guy please? I'd like to call this guy right now and say, where can I find my Z06 2024 for 75% off? I mean, I'd buy one in a heartbeat. What about you? So the whole point is, for Janet Yellen, she's going to be over in China begging China not to release their less expensive batteries, their less expensive cars into our country, because it wouldn't be right. Because it wouldn't support the Inflation Reduction Act, where nothing by whatsoever any means has resonated in the Inflation Reduction Act. There's nothing that's gone down under Joe Biden's term. Everything's gotten more expensive. And now when people want to make things less expensive, the Janet Yellen's going to show up and tell you can't do that. Wow. Yeah, it gets heavy, it gets deep. That's it. I talk a lot. I know that. For anybody who's new to my channel, subscribe. And I do morning conversations. I talk a lot, talk a long time. I get all that. Love to hear somebody weigh in and say, Iceman, there's another guy that does your channel exactly the same way you do it. So it's Ice HTV. Reach out, get a sticker. IceHTV comments at Gmail. So you can email me personally, and I'll respond to your email. One gentleman sent me a comment yesterday to get my email. I never heard from him. IceHTV comments at gmail.com. I'll mail you a sticker or two. And just if you want to just reach out, say, hey, share pictures of your ice love. The ice has to continue. Unless the ice speaks up, it's going to melt. That's what's going to happen. Yes, it is. So anyways, as always, thanks so much for watching my channel. Really do appreciate those that do reach out and support me. Look at the rain. Look at this roof. Isn't that so cool? I've always have loved the noise of rain. It reminds me growing up when I go to my grandmother's house in Savannah, Tennessee, in a little shack, little house, no money. She came from a cotton farmer. She picked cotton, my mama did. And so at the end of the day, we sit in that house in the summer months and listen to that rain downpouring that metal roof. That was so cool. So everybody, thanks again for watching my channel. Have a great day. God bless. Stay safe.